Welcome to Qigong for winter. Currently in Colorado, where I am, it's 22 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about negative 5.5 degrees Celsius, and it's windy. But I want to go outside and practice Qigong. Before going outside, I'd like to introduce some terms to you that you're going to hear me refer to during our practice. First one, lower dantian. This is below your navel, about 2 to 3 inches. And this is, dantian is your elixir field of qi. What is qi? Qi is your circulating life force that runs through the body, running through meridians, running through deeper channels and vessels in the body. Life force. I may say lift from the qua. Your qua is your inguinal crease. This is where your upper and your lower body meet. By lifting from the qua, we are creating space. A repeated intention in Qigong. You'll hear me refer to, and we're going to massage and work around the Lao Gong points. Lao Gong points are in your palm. If I make a soft fist, and about where my middle finger meets my palm, maybe a little bit towards the ring finger side, but under my middle finger, this is Lao Gong. Lao Gong means working palace, and these points, among other things, help to calm the nervous system and also clear inflammation. Bai Hui, the crown. We lift from the Bai Hui point. By doing so, we're again creating space in our cervical vertebrae in the neck, also through the ribs at the rib cage, down to the lumbar vertebrae, creating space. Sometimes if I say lift from the crown, I see people do this. And you'll see that crunches my neck, it crunches the cervical vertebrae. Lifting from the Bai Hui, though, my chin will drop a little bit, and I create a nice feeling of upward movement through the spine. We're going to be tapping a point on the lung meridian called the Zhangfu, which is lung 1. The lung meridian runs down from this point here underneath the collarbone, down the arm to the thumb, on this side of the arm, and the Zhangfu point, central palace, can help to relax the lungs and also reduce inflammation. It also helps to expand airways. Gallbladder 20, Feng Qi. We're not going to work that point as much as I just want you to be aware of it. I want you to keep that covered when you're out in the cold. The Feng Qi point is called the wind pool. Wind is considered in Chinese medicine a pathogen. And this pathogen can enter the body through the wind pool point here, gallbladder 20, which is underneath at the base of the spine, or at the base of the skull, in between the mastoid process, the bone here under your ear, and then where your spine meets your skull, right in between. If you go ahead and make circles there, it might feel a little bit tender. I want you to protect that area by wearing a hoodie, by wearing a scarf, by wearing a turtleneck, whatever. When you're out in the cold, especially on a cold, windy day like today, I want you to keep that covered. Feng Qi. The Ming Men, the door of life. Ming Men is at the kidneys, on the back, and about at the bottom of the rib cage. We're going to pay attention to the Ming Men, the door of life, because that is the organ of the body associated with water, one of the organs associated with water, and winter is also associated with water. That's the element of the 5 elements. Winter is water. So you can find out more about these terms. I have created a link in the description below to my blog, Qigong in a Park. You can check out these terms and learn more about Qigong. But now we're going to go outside and practice. Okay, here we are outside. It's gotten up to a balmy 29 degrees here in my backyard. We're going to do some forms that are going to ignite our heart fire and also balance our water and fire elements. So let's start by our feet shoulder width apart. And look at the insides of your feet. If the arches, I'd like the arches being parallel. So sometimes when I say to people, go ahead and just stand, naturally people stand like this. I want you to stand now with your feet just insides parallel. And we're going to go ahead by finding our lower dantian underneath the navel and just start doing small circles, just barely touching the surface. Small circles. And you can see I'm letting my body feel some movement as I'm moving and spiraling. And I'm going to let that spiral become bigger. Moving at the dantian. Now, even though our intention isn't to work with our digestive system, it's always recommended to come up on the right, across, and down on the left and across. Up on the right, across, down on the left. Going with the direction of our peristalsis, of our digestion. Let the circles become larger. And breathe. Feel yourself lifting from the Bai Hui, from the crown. And then let the circles, the spiraling, start to come back to center. Back to your lower dantian, your elixir field of qi. And just breathe. See if you can breathe down into your hands. Lifting from the Bai Hui. Bring your breath down to your hands. Now let your arms drop. Readjust your feet if you need to. And either with a soft fist or with the pinky sides of my hands, I'm just going to tap at the qua, the inguinal crease. This is a place where I'm going to, when we're moving, say lift out of the qua, create space in the qua. This is an area also with a lot of lymph nodes. So we're encouraging lymph circulation. And let that slow down. Let your arms just hang for a second. And we're going to come into what is called a horse stance. So my feet are going to be wider apart. I'm going to turn my toes out so that if I were to bend my knee would be tracking over my toe. I don't want to jeopardize the health of my knees. So I'm just going to start by feeling a weight shift back and forth from one leg to the other. And I want you to remember that qua, creating space in the qua as we lift from the bai hui. I'm starting to turn towards the bent knee, watching my knees, feeling lift. And again, we're going to feel as though this movement is being driven by the dantian. Think of it as a little sphere inside of the body, a ball of qi, your lower dantian, and that's rotating and starting to drive the movement from one side to the other. Let your arms hang heavy. Let your shoulders drop. Lift from the bai hui. Arms feel heavy. Go ahead. We're going to start to build up the momentum. So I'm going to go a little faster. And I'm going to go ahead and steer my arms so that they're starting to come up, creating space here in the armpits. Qigong is all about creating space in the body so that qi can move. So I'm creating space and swinging my arms, following my movement. Lift, create space in the qua, lift from the bai hui. Now I'm going to go ahead and drive that motion up to the door of life, the Ming Men, my kidney center. Kidneys, the organs associated with water element. I'm tapping with a soft fist. The kidneys. Ming Men, door of life, home of my Jing, my essence, my biology. I'm going to go ahead and bring the tap up. So tapping underneath my collarbone. Lung point, Zhongfu. Encouraging a strong immune system. Then I'm going to let that slow down. Moving away from the lung meridian, the lung points. Lung 1, Zhongfu. Come back down. You can just let your arms tap, maybe on the sides of your rib cage. There are meridians that run up sides of the rib cage. Let's wake up those meridians. And let the motion slow down. And I'm going to bring my feet back closer together underneath my shoulders. And I'm going to start doing some arm circles. When we're cold, our brain, our hypothalamus, gives cues for our blood to flow towards our torso to keep our internal organs warm, meaning blood flow moves away from the arms and the legs. I want to encourage some movement in the arms and legs, and I go the opposite direction, like I'm throwing a snowball. As you see, I'm rotating my body, following my hand with my eyes, rotating my torso, and let that hand drop. Just feel the difference. from one arm to the other. This arm may appear to even be lower. What happens when we're cold? Do this. This shoulder may appear to be lower. Let's do the other arm. So starting by coming back, tracking the movement of our hands with our eyes. And then come up to the top in reverse direction. Breathing. I exhale. Inhale. Exhale. As you see, I'm also letting a little bounce happen in my knees. Now for a little fun brain game, encouraging communication of our right brain with our left brain. Also yang and yin. I'm going to bring both hands up. I'm going to let one hand come forward as the other hand comes back. I'm going to turn towards that back hand. Then again to the back hand, coming back up to center. Just play with this. If you get it, great. If not, just keep practicing. This is great for encouraging neuroplasticity, brain exercise. I'm going to go ahead and move it because it's cold out. I'm going to go ahead and get moving. And when you come back to center, see if you can reverse directions. Uh-oh, it can be tricky. Had to think about that for a second, which is the point. Breathing, moving, getting blood, lymph, and qi circulating in the body. Then let the hands come up and back down again. Let's just go ahead for a second and massage our synovial joints, joints that have synovial fluid. I'm going to have my hand just resting on the elbow, and I'm bringing my hand up through the other arm. Hoping to lubricate that elbow joint. Then you can come the opposite direction. Little brain game again. So my hand is coming down through, diving down. Then let's go ahead and switch elbows. So I'm coming up through the opposite arm, massaging that synovial joint. In reverse direction. And go ahead. Slow that down, come to stillness. Just feel. Do you need to shake? After doing all this arm work, do you need to shake your shoulders out a little bit? Now let's come back to horse stance. Feet wide apart, bending the knees so they're tracking over my feet. And I'm going to just shift back and forth like we were doing at the very beginning. Lift. Create space in the qua. Lift and settle. Lift and settle. Lifting from the bai hui. And now I'm going to let my upper body start to move like water. So my hip is moving first. The head moves last. Moving up the spine. Creating a very reptilian motion of the spine. Which takes us to moving as though we're swimming like a dragon. So bring your hands up to prayer position in front of your heart and just start and keep that fluid movement coming up the spine, even though you focused on your hands here for a second. And now I'm going to start to move my hands one direction as I look the other direction. Then move them to this side and this side. So my hands are tracking over my bent knee, but my eyes are looking away from the hands. And now start to feel that fluid movement up the spine again. It's easy to get lost. Slow it down if you need to, or just play. If your head ends up looking towards your hands, go ahead. But try, slow down and try head looking away, because look at what I'm doing. I'm creating a twisting motion movement up into the cervical vertebrae, into my neck, and the thoracic vertebrae of my rib cage. Then come to stillness out of swimming dragon just for a second. And I'm going to put my palms together at those Lao Gong points. Okay, I'm going to be brave. Take off my gloves so I can feel the Lao Gong points. And I'm going to, again, same thing, come back and forth, shifting my weight from one side to the other. Remember, lift from the byway, create space in the qua, and I'm turning my hands at the Lao Gong points. I'm going to go faster. Relax your hands too. Back and forth. This is igniting our inner fire. Start going faster. Really warming up the palms. There. Then with that, slow down, give your hands a rub. I'm going to put my gloves back on. And we are going to do one of my favorite forms, trembling horse. So I'm going to bring my feet back to underneath my shoulders, shoulder width apart. And I'm going to start just going back and forth with my knees, making sure my feet are firmly planted in the ground. You can see what I just did too. I adjusted my shoulders, let them roll up and back. Again, after doing all this arm work, I want to release down, and I'm trembling. And I'm going to start to feel vibration in my feet, then up into my calves, feeling the soft tissue just jiggle around the bones, up to the thighs, up into my dantian, starting to feel vibration. Increase the movement, increase it, and then up into your belly. And breathe. Lift from the byway. Then go ahead, bring your arms up, shaking into the chest. The whole body's shaking, hands up overhead. Shake, 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 shake. And then out. Then let's do it again. Trembling horse. Shake, shake, shake. Feel vibration in your feet, legs, belly, chest, arms, shoulders, up, overhead, Oh, and then let it out with whatever sound you want. And one more. Trembling horse coming up overhead. And inhale. Shake it, shake it, shake it, and let it out. There, just breathe for a second. Readjust your legs. Check your shoulders. And now, just instinctively, I started to bounce a little bit. I want you to do that. Bouncing on your heels. In the 8 brocades, there's a form called shake the back. What we're doing is we're creating vibration coming up the body by letting our heels drop onto the ground. If you also think of, remember, Qi in the body, if you also think of a jar filled with bread flour, and by dropping it on the counter, the flour settles. We're settling our Qi. Let's bring it back to that Dantian. Well, then let that stop. Now bring the feet a little bit into a narrow horse stance. Again, toes pointed out a little bit, and just start to swing your arms. Come up to center. Swing one arm in front, one arm in back, and up. Just coming back and forth, swinging the arms. Now I'm going to, when I come up, I'm going to let my body rise up and then back down onto my heels. And then let that vibration move like you're a trembling horse. Inhale, exhale. And let that slow down. It's another purging form, but I also thought that would be a good warming form for us to do. Vibration. Now, I end every practice with Qigong. We're just going to do it instead of me explaining what it is. First, my palms are going to lead as I come up, lead up overhead. Inhale, gathering, and then down slowly in front of the body, feeling like this is a net and you're just filtering out anything that you don't need to be carrying around. Pathogens, whether emotional or physical. Then inhale up. And this time, exhale and let your body bathe in clean, white, pearlescent, shimmering Qi. Inhale up. Now this time as you exhale, close your eyes and let yourself see whatever color you want. Whatever color comes to you, and that's your color for the day, that you've painted your aura that color, or that's your color for the next 5 minutes. And then come back, hands over the dantian, bring your feet a little closer together again, more like hips width apart. And just feel. Close your eyes. It's a little bit of a breeze today. What am I talking about? It's windy. I'm going to let my body just sway a little bit. We've been moving chi in the body. Now we're going to let chi move us. So I'm just swaying, bamboo in the wind, whichever direction the chi wants to take me. Sometimes I feel an inclination to twist to one side. And I'm going to let my hands drop. 3 bows. You can use a prayer position or take your dominant hand, make a fist with the other hand on top, whichever feels more organic to you. I usually go with prayer position. And I'm going to bow 3 times, show reverence. My first bow is to my teachers, past, present, and future. My second bow is to my biology, my Jing, what I was born with, what I share with my ancestors, my brothers, my sisters, you may share with your children. My third bow is to my place in nature, which I call the Tao. Thank you.